Our next lesson in this unit is about converting fractions into percentages. Our I can statement says I can create equivalent fractions by multiplying a numerator and a denominator by the same number. All right, this is something that we have done a lot, especially in the recent past. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. Here's the fraction 1/2. I'm going to make 1/2 become an equivalent fraction to some number of tenths, right? So most of you are getting really good at this by now, but just a quick review. I need to multiply the top and the bottom, the numerator and the denominator, by the same number. So I know that 2 times 5 equals 10, so I need to multiply the top as well. 1 times 5 equals 5. So this picture over on the right hand side should confirm that 1/2 is the same as 5/10. So very quickly, there are 2 big parts in my entire rectangle. One of them is colored in gold. That is our first fraction. That's 1/2. Now, without changing the amount of gold colored in, I can change this. So instead of 2 parts, there are 10 parts. That's our denominator. I'm going to change it so there's 10 parts. And the easiest way to do this is to think, well, if I multiply by 5, then I need to break each of these parts over here into 5 parts. So here they are. I'm going to make some lines going across, do the best I can. It probably won't be perfect, but we'll do the best. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, might move that just a little bit here. That bottom set of parts is a little bit skinny, but that's all right. You get the idea. All right, so now there's still the same amount of gold. I have not taken any away, erased, and I haven't added any. But you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gold parts colored in out of, there's 5 out of 10, or 5/10. So 1/2 was the same as 5/10. Let's do another example where we use the bigger numbers first. So here on top, it says 15/20 is equivalent or is the same as some number of fourths. Where this gets a little bit tricky for kids is that they may not be sure how to make 20 become 4, right? So there's a couple of different ways that we can think about this. I can just turn my arrow around and say 4 times 5 equals. So if I do that, I'd need to draw another arrow and say something times 5 equals 15. Where you have to be really careful is that this does not say 15 times 5. Okay? So if you know that 3 times 5 equals 15, see how we have the times, the 5, and the 15? Here's the times, the 5, and the 15. That means that 3 has to go here. That would work, right? Another way that we talk about doing this is instead of making this a times statement, I can go backwards and say 20 divided by something equals 4. So if I'm not sure what to divide by, I'm going to grab my calculator. Calculator, C-A-L-C, there it is. Calculator, slowly, that's all right. Here we go, pull it up. All right, grab my calculator, clear it out. I can do 20 divided by 4. So I can use these two numbers and this divide by sign, and then the answer of 5 just goes right there. All right, so then I can check it just to be sure that I'm right here. Let's see, this should be equals. So 20 divided by 5 equals 20 divided by 5 equals, yep, that works. So then I'm gonna do the same thing on the top, 15 divided by 5. Hey, look, it's 3. Doesn't matter to me how you do it, and if you don't need a calculator, that's fine. But if you do, that's all right. But we just have to be really careful and really sure that we're doing the same thing top and bottom. In both cases, it was divided by 5. All right, so where is that divide by 5? So here I have a picture of 15 20ths, right? You can see there are 15 gold squares. Sorry, those are rectangles. 15 gold rectangles or parts out of 20 parts, right? I'm going to erase the numbers now and say instead of having 20 parts, which was our denominator, instead of having 20 parts, I want to end up with 4 parts. And if I want to end up with 4 parts, then I'm going to really trace these up and down lines here. And now you can see there is 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, and 3 out of the 4 are colored in. That is that fraction right there. 3 out of 4 are colored in. But I did say, where's that divide by 5? The divide by 5, if you look really carefully, is how many are in each of those bigger parts that I made. There's 5 of those small rectangles in each of these big parts. So that's where that divide by 5 comes from. All right, so in any case, if we are going to make an equivalent fraction, we need to multiply or divide the numerator and denominator by the same number. On Monday and Tuesday, we talked about percents, meaning per for each, and cent meaning 100. So here's an example from class. We said 40% means 40 out of 100. So we colored in 40 out of those 100 teeny tiny little squares. But 40% also means the fraction 40 on top of 100, 40 out of 100. So then we realized we could divide the top and bottom by 20, the numerator and denominator by 20. And if we did that, we got 40 divided by 20 equals 2, and 100 divided by 20 equals 5. That gave us this fraction, 2/5. So what we're going to do today is we're going to swap them around. So instead of starting with a fraction that's got a denominator of 100, we're going to end with a fraction with a denominator of 100, like this one. Here's the fraction 3/5. I want to make an equivalent fraction where the denominator is 100. Because if the denominator is 100, then I have a percent. So I'm going to draw an arrow and draw an arrow. And I know this is a times problem. And if I'm not sure what to times by, I'm going to grab my calculator, pull it up, and I can just keep on guessing. 5 times 3, 5 times 6. It's going to take me a long time. So the shortcut is to start with the bigger number, 100, and divide by the other number you see. That's 5, and we'd get 20. And then I'm just going to double check and see if that's right. I'm going to put that in. 5 times 20, does it really equal 100? 5 times 20, yep. So then I can do the same thing to the top. 3 times 20, pretty sure that's 60, double check. Yep, so that's 60 on top of 100. But because the denominator is 100, this is now set up like a percent. This now says, this numerator, 60, I'm going to copy it. It means 60% because it says 60 for each 100. So I can color in 60 of these little boxes. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Oh, I can see that's a little bit more than half. All right. And then for the final answer, I can just write that 60 in front of the percent sign. So be ready with a calculator in class, and I think we're going to really kick this lesson's butt.